Welcome back to the WellBeing Check, your 20-minute check-in for purposeful, growth-minded women who are ready to go deeper than tips and tricks. I'm Stephanie Cunningham, and today we're talking about something I consider one of the most foundational pieces of a really good life: connection. Why we crave it so deeply, what it actually looks like, and what happens when we've been living without it for so long we've forgotten what it feels like. And listen, this one's personal for me, like real personal. I'm going to share some of my own story today because I think you might see yourself in it. And if you do, good. That's the whole point. We're in this together. So a few years ago, I was in corporate for nearly 20 years, marketing and training. On paper, I was doing great. Good job, good salary, checked all the boxes. But internally, something was very, very off. I was feeling completely disconnected from my work. It felt flat, hollow, like I was going through the motions of a life that I had designed based on what I thought I was supposed to want, but apparently not what I actually wanted. And it wasn't just work. At the same time, my personal life was falling apart in the same way. My marriage, my friendships, all of it was feeling thin, like I was skimming the surface of a life that should have felt more full. Can you relate? The divorce and leaving corporate happened around the same time, and that's really not a coincidence. Both 13 years. And here's what I know now. I was building a life from the outside in. External markers, external validation, external measures of success, and my soul, my actual soul, was screaming that it wanted something different, something real, something mine. And what I didn't talk about enough at the time, what I barely admitted to myself, was how lonely it felt. Not the kind of lonely that comes from being, alone, but the kind that comes from being in a room full of people, in a marriage, in a career, and still feeling completely unseen. Because you are unseen. Because you're not fully showing up. You can't connect genuinely with others when you're not even connected to yourself. Let that sink in for a second. Leaving corporate and leaving my marriage in the same season of life was pretty terrifying. I don't sugarcoat that. Starting over at that stage, at that age, financially, emotionally, professionally, is not for the faint of heart. There were moments where I genuinely didn't know if I was being brave or just reckless. But here's what I also know. I had never felt more like myself, even in the uncertainty, even in the fear, because for the first time, I was making choices from the inside out, from my actual values, my actual desires, my actual truth. Once I started from scratch, and I mean scratch, everything changed. My friendships are deeper now. My work is more meaningful, both my spiritual coaching work and the real estate work I do, because they're both connected to me, to who I am and how I want to serve. Connection is the lens I look through now, and that changes everything. So let's define what we're actually talking about. Feeling connected, a sense of contentment, compassion, and emotional safety in relation to the present moment, yourself, your community, or something greater than your daily experience. Sounds good, huh? Deep and rich. And yes, that feels amazing when you've got it. So what does the flip side feel like? Disconnection. And that feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. And we've all been there, disconnected from friends, from family, from work, from ourselves. And here's what I really need you to know about connection. Connection is hardwired into us as a species. We're always seeking it with people, situations, projects, our environment, ourselves, God, the present moment. It's not a nice to have. It's who we are. It's how we survive. What happens when we ignore that wiring? When we build a life based on what looks right from the outside rather than what's true on the inside, we feel exactly what I felt. Flat, hollow, off, like something's missing, even when everything looks perfectly fine on paper. Does that sound familiar? Think about a moment when you felt truly and deeply connected to a person, a place, an experience. What did that feel like? I'm guessing it felt happy, safe, easy, alive, free. That's what we're after. Now think about the last time you felt truly disconnected, and it might be right now. A relationship that had run its course, a job that has stopped feeding you, a version of yourself you've outgrown but haven't been able to let go of yet. So that feels like sadness, anxiety, depression, purposelessness, feeling overly sensitive, like everything is just too much. And when I ask people what feelings of disconnection have been most present for them, the most common answer is, you guessed it, anxiety. No surprise there. These last few years have been a lot. The uncertainty has been real, and it has a way of quietly warming into every corner of our lives, even the good ones. So how do we fight back? How do we move from disconnected to genuinely, deeply connected? Here's the insight that changed everything for me. And I want to offer it to you because I think it's the root of so much of the disconnection people feel. Most of us build our lives from the outside in. We make decisions based on what looks good, what people expect, what we think we are supposed to want, the career, the relationship, the house, the lifestyle, the money. We check the boxes that other people, i.e. our parents, culture, industry, say we should check. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. I didn't. I built a whole version of my life around external markers of success, and it looked fine from the outside. It probably looked really good. But inside, my soul was depleted because it wasn't mine. The work of real, lasting connection starts from the inside out. It starts with knowing who you actually are, what you actually value, what you actually want, and then, and this is the brave part, building your life around that. That's not selfish. That's essential. Because when you're connected to yourself first, everything else connects. Your relationships go deeper, your work becomes more meaningful, you show up differently, you are more fully, more authentically, more powerfully available. And what nobody tells you when you start making that shift is that things don't always look the same from the outside. Some people in your life will cheer you on. Some won't understand. Some will feel genuinely threatened by the fact that you're changing because your growth holds up a mirror they're not ready to look into. And that's okay. The goal isn't to have everyone approve of your choices. The goal is to be able to look yourself in the eye and know, really know, that the life you're building is yours. That clarity, that's connection. Deep, foundational, unshakable connection to yourself, and everything else grows from there. I see this in my own life every single day. The work I do, the coaching, the Reiki, the real estate, my relationship with Alex. I feel safe and comfortable to be all versions of me. The one that is metaphysical, the microphone lady who makes up songs, the one who loves to throw out F-bombs, and the businessy Stephanie. Same with my friends. I can be all of it. And sometimes it's a lot, I will say, to everyone and not feel judged. I show up in all areas of my life. And it connects very differently than it did before. It all comes from the same place. how I want to serve, what lights me up. That's the lens. And once you find yours, everything else gets clearer. So real quick, I want you to become fully aware of how you're connecting in a few areas of your life right now. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being barely connected, 5 being deeply, fully in it, where are you right now in these 4 areas? Okay? First, yourself. Do you know what makes you feel good and what doesn't? Do you protect your time and energy? Do you engage with work and people that actually feel satisfying? Next, your family and friends. Are your personal relationships nourishing? Do you have a support system that's really there for you? People who genuinely get you? Third, your work. Do you feel a sense of purpose in what you do? And you can be a stay-at-home mom, or you can be someone who works in a retail store. You can be in a corporate office. It doesn't really matter. You have work that you're doing. Do you feel a sense of purpose in that work? It doesn't mean it's your calling. It can mean you're proud of your craft or proud of what your work provides for your family. Purpose takes a lot of forms. And finally, your connection to something bigger than yourself. God, nature, art, a cause, a community. Something that reminds you that you're part of something more. These numbers are going to shift from time to time, and that's completely normal. Life moves in all different directions. But in general, maybe week to week, over the last few months, where do you land? I'll go first. For me, my connection to myself right now, I would say it's about a 3 or a 4. A few health things are weighing on me that I need to sort out. So that's probably why that's a little bit lower. Family and friends, I would say a solid 4. My work, 5. The coaching and Reiki and then the real estate are feeding me in big ways right now. And then something bigger than myself, I would say a 5. I'm honestly pretty in the zone with the universe at this moment. And it feels really cool. And I want you to know that as we're going through this, just notice. This is just a noticing. This is just an awareness. There's no like bad or good. It's just where you are right now. Like I said, things in our life happen, and some of those are going to be lower or higher at times, and that's totally fine. This isn't, your number has to be high or else you're failing at it, right? That's not what this is. This is just an invitation to notice where you are and if you want or need to make changes. So let's talk about how to actually lean in to connection. And these 4 areas all feed into one another. They're not separate. So I just want to bring that up as we go through. Just keep that in mind. First is connection with the moment. This is mindfulness. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but stay with me. At its core, it's pretty simple. Bring your attention to right now. Who are you with? What are you working on? How does your body feel right now? In this moment, listening to this. And here's why this matters, especially for connection. When we're not present, we're not really connecting with anything. We're half there, half in our heads, half somewhere else. And people can feel that. Life can feel that. One of the easiest ways to drop into the present moment is through your breath. 3 slow, intentional breaths will shift your entire nervous system. Give it a shot today in the middle of your next meeting or conversation or your commute. Just breathe. Other anchors that work, shutting off your phone, putting music on that moves you, stepping outside for 5 minutes, creating something with your hands. Anything that pulls you out of your head and drops you back into your body in the moment you're actually in. These are small things, but they work. Next is connect with yourself. This one is the whole shebang, and it's the one most of us skip or rush through. I spent years not really knowing myself, not deeply anyway. I knew what I was good at, what I achieved, what other people liked about me, but I didn't know what made my soul feel alive. I didn't know my real values, like my values, not the ones I'd inherited or performed. I didn't know what I needed to feel genuinely satisfied versus fine. And I made a lot of decisions from that place of not knowing. Decisions that looked right but felt wrong. Okay, maybe not knowing isn't the right phrase. Not trusting my inner voice. There were glimpses that I ignored because they didn't line up for some reason. And can I tell you something? That inner voice, the one I kept overriding, was never actually quiet. It just got harder and harder to hear under all of the noise of who I thought I needed to be. The performing, the achieving, the keeping up. Once I finally cleared the space to listen, it was still there, patient, steady, still pointing in the right direction. It had been waiting for me the whole time. And yours is too. I really believe that. So here's what I'd invite you to do. Take the time to actually learn who you are. What do you like to do? What do you value? Not what you've always said you like and value, but what you actually like and value. Right now, today, I want you to lean into that. And it's okay if it's different from what your family believes or thinks or wants, or your friends believe or think or want. Just do it. Just focus on you and see what comes up. Right? Try new things, new books, places, experiences. Notice what lights you up and do more of it. And also notice what drains you and start protecting yourself from that stuff. Here's a small but powerful practice. Before you answer a question, the way you've always answered it, just pause. Do you still feel the same way you used to? It's okay if you've changed. It's okay if you've stayed the same. What matters is that you notice and you honor it. Connect with others. Real connection with other people, not surface level, not transactional, is one of the great nourishments of being human. But here's the catch. It does require us to know ourselves first, because when we know ourselves and allow ourselves to be seen, we can actually see other people. We can be fully present with them instead of performing for them or managing them. Think about your closest relationships right now. Are they nourishing? Do you feel seen? Do these people really get you? Do you know if you really get them? If not, you may have a role in that. I know I did. And think about where you might be craving more in your friendships, in your romantic relationship, your professional community. Connection doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention. It requires showing up consistently, vulnerably, and for real. Real connection requires you to risk being known. Not the curated version of you, not the version that has it all together, the real, sometimes messy, still figuring it out version. And yes, that's vulnerable. It can feel terrifying, especially if you've been burned before. But it's also exactly how the best relationships in your life get built. The ones that sustain you, the ones that still show up when things get hard. You deserve those relationships, and you deserve to be that person for someone else. For me, my deepest connections now come from one-on-one conversations, writing and teaching, and this space right here. Because when we grow together, we go further. That's not just a nice idea. I've actually watched it happen. The last one is connect with the world around you. Oh my gosh, there's so much here. Your environment is not neutral. The space you live in, the space you work in, the things you surround yourself with, they either support your energy or they drain it. They either feel like you or they don't. Does your home feel like a sanctuary? Does your workplace inspire you or stress you out? Is your environment a reflection of who you actually are or who you used to be or who someone else thinks you are or should be? I know my home office was getting a little out of control there for a minute, and I could totally feel it. So here's again what I know for sure. We connect with the people, the places, and the things we surround ourselves with And in that connection, a collective energy exists. You can feel it when you walk into a room that's warm and intentional. You can feel it when you walk into a room that's chaotic and cluttered. Your body knows. This is our responsibility, to create environments that support who we are, to choose day by day, little by little, the people, places, and things that align with us, the real us, until we feel that deep, satisfying sense of fulfillment we're all working towards. Connection is not a luxury. It's not something you get once everything else is handled. It's the thing that makes everything else feel worth it. And it starts with you, with knowing yourself deeply enough to build a life that's actually genuinely yours. Not the one you inherited, not the one you performed, yours. This isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. Some days you'll feel deeply connected and on fire, and other days you'll feel like you've lost the thread entirely. Both are part of it. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. It's coming back to yourself again and again and choosing to build from that place. I spent a long time disconnected from my own life, and I know I'm not alone in that. So many of us are moving through our days on autopilot, doing all the right things and still feeling like something's just off or out of reach. And if that's you right now, I see you. And I want you to know it doesn't have to stay that way. You don't have to blow up your whole life to find your way back to yourself. Sometimes it's one honest conversation, one boundary you finally hold, one thing you say yes to that's just for you. Connection starts in the small moments and it builds. That's the work. And you're already doing it just by showing up here. So what's one thing from today that's stuck? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. And if this episode hit close to home, share it with someone else who needs to hear it. Thanks again for being here. Really, I'll see you next time. Our next check-in is loving detachment, aka the art of not giving a shit. We're talking about how to let things go and stop making other people's problems your problems. With compassion, of course. Until next time, if you want to connect or book a session, you can find me at revelationyou.com or email me at revelationyou.com@gmail.com. Of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram too. Until next time, be well.